I don't want to be just potential anymore. I don't know about you, but potential has always been something I considered a compliment. It feels good, but if left undeveloped, can eventually become just that, a quick fix for your ego, but nothing of real substance. I'm at the stage where it's almost become painful because it reminds me of a life that I haven't built yet. And there's plenty of reasons for this. I'm going to focus on being self accountable, self responsible. So basically, I put it on me, I don't put it on anyone else. And in the same breath, I will say that I followed society's script thinking that would lead me to a form of self actualization, personal success, and a meaningful life. But in reality, it's almost like a grand illusion that has led me to cover my basics and be able to survive, but it stops there. It doesn't enable me to thrive. And what these videos have become a part of and what they're about is going beyond that almost invincible layer of just surviving into a higher level of existence, which is thriving, which is expressing yourself and turning potential into reality. And that's something that each and every one of us has to do on an individual level. No one can do that work for you. Something I've been thinking about is how potential can become a trap if you're not careful. As I mentioned, it can feel good, it can feel like a compliment and potentially a sense of hope that you're capable of more. But after a while, if you don't act on it, potential can start to feel like pressure. It almost becomes a quiet reminder that you're not becoming the person who you think you can. You're not becoming the person you said you would be. And this series, filming every day, taking step by step action on a daily, consistent basis, is about turning potential into reality. It's about taking that action and developing the evidence because I believe that each and every one of us can do it, but it must be a choice. So, potential in and of itself is not proof of greatness. Having a great idea is not the same as building on that idea. Knowing you could do more is not the same as doing more. You have to find a way to align the two. We're working to gain self respect, self trust, self love, self accountability, and self reliance, and that in turn develops a new sense of self confidence, a new self image. There's a lot of self there, but it's bigger than that because by you aligning with your potential and who you are really meant to be, who you feel called to be, that makes you so much more present and valuable to those around you than you might even know. And it wasn't until I realized that I realized that it's bigger than me. Not acting on my potential, not giving everything I have, not giving life everything I have is not only insulting to myself, but to those around me. The cure itself is evidence, it's action, because every rep itself is proof that you have the ability to embody and actualize your potential. Every rep, every video, every workout, every page, every practice session, every dollar that you save or invest, all these things that may be seemingly uncomfortable, but is going to get the momentum going. The hard conversations, the moments of silent reflection or meditation with yourself, it all becomes proof that you're turning your potential into reality. And that's what we're striving for here. That's what I'm realizing is the cure to getting out of a life that you're not happy with, to embodying and living a life that has more meaning. But we must take the time to figure out what that is exactly. Because if you don't even know you have potential, if you've never been told you had potential, I'm here to fix that. Because the reality is, you do. Each and every one of us does. How many of us are actually connected to that potential? Even further, how many of us are actually feeding our own reality by giving ourselves the opportunity to act on that potential? There are going to be a few barriers to entry here, so to speak. One is whether or not you even have a belief system that allows you to act on your potential. If you doubt yourself too much, you're going to count yourself out before you even start. Going further is whether or not you allow yourself the time to even discover your potential. A lot of us have a sense of calling and meaning, but may not know exactly what it is because maybe society makes you think that you just discover your calling and it just falls on your lap. But I disagree with that concept. I am more from the school of thought that sometimes you have to experience life in many different ways in order to find out more and more what it is that you actually like, what you're called to do, what you're good at, or what you even want to become good at. And sometimes you have to try multiple things to find out what you don't like, as opposed to just knowing right away what it is you want to do. I think some of us have that, which is great. God bless you. But also, God bless those who don't know. Because again, you have the potential to find out, but are you giving yourself the opportunity to do so? A great exercise that we've talked about before is simply writing down some of your ideas, whether it's on an actual journal or book, or it's in your phone's notes app, whatever it is. But taking a daily log, or something I like to do as well, is daily audio recordings, anything to keep a sort of log of your ideas is going to, I believe, give you more evidence as to what your potential is and how you can unlock it for yourself. Now, it is important to understand you don't need to become impressive overnight or successful overnight. Most people rarely do. You just need to stop living in a theory of yourself, a version of yourself that is hoping for a better future but isn't actually doing anything about it on the day-to-day basis. I was caught in that sort of ambiguous loop for a long time. Going to work every day, doing what I needed to with my 9 to 5 and my daily essentials, yet still hoping for more while not actually making time for it. And that in and of itself is just incompatible with creating transformation and building momentum. You have to start where you're at, even if that means starting small and imperfectly, as we talked about before. Starting ugly is okay, but starting and continuing is what really matters. But I would say give yourself an extended period of time to really gather data and experience as to whether or not what you're doing is something enjoyable that you like, and if it's actually aligned with what you think is your potential. Another great idea is to talk to those who are close to you. Many times people can see things that we can't. They call it a blind spot for a reason, and what may be obvious to others might not be so obvious to us. And so if you have people you trust and someone you're close to, like friends or family, you could even ask them, hey, what do you think is my potential? What do you think I'm good at? And that can give you some insight. But at the end of the day, it is your decision. It is up to you to truly find out by going inside and searching deeply and reflecting, what it is your potential, and allow yourself to take daily action on it, because I personally don't want to be just in a state of potential anymore. I don't want to be someone who could have done something meaningful and something special. Instead, I want to be someone who takes action. I want to surround myself by people who take action, and I want the receipts and the evidence. I want to look back after these 3 months, 6 months, years, and really give myself a sort of congratulations for actually going for it and actually doing something about it. I've learned that as a man, there's no need for us to complain. Instead, it's up to us to take full accountability. You don't even have to be a man, but again, like I said in previous videos, that's more of who I'm focused on communicating to. That's more of who I focus on my audience, because I am a guy, and that's who I can relate to the most. But regardless of your gender and all that, taking self-accountability, full responsibility for where you're at in your life right here and right now, it can feel hard, but it is ultimately so empowering and so liberating, because after you go through beating yourself up a bit, you get to a point where you have the opportunity to then forgive yourself, befriend yourself, and show up for yourself. And that's where transformation really starts to occur, because once you're on your own side and you become interested in getting to know yourself and what you like, that's when you have the prime foundation to really build a life of meaning, to really create that transformation that you may have a calling to embody and create for yourself. Of course, I would believe that God is a part of that foundation as well, but that's up to you. Each and every person has to figure that out for themselves in their own way, what that means, just like we all have to figure out what happiness means, what success means, what love means. We also have to figure out what does our potential mean and how can we do something about it. If you'd like to know more insights on that, and if you found this video helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe below. Click that notification bell, because I'm here on a journey filming every day for 3 months, and I'm looking forward to having you on the journey with me. I'm looking forward to the skills that we'll develop and the new insights that we can share, and more importantly, the action that we can take to not only make our lives better individually, but also collectively. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. As always, good things to you and yours, and much love and many blessings.